Apparently, there is a twisted Bronx honeypot kidnapping case, which I stumbled upon, and this is like a really disturbing story. So let's get right into it. New details emerged Tuesday about the sick kidnapping scheme that left the New York City man burned, gagged, and on the brink of death as the alleged honeypot charged with luring him was indicted. Police found the 24-year-old victim, who was allegedly kidnapped February 7th, wrapped in a moving blanket with tape covering his nose and mouth inside a van parked in Queens, according to sources and prosecutors. One of his knife toting tormentors was also in the vehicle, the sources said. At the time, two of his kidnappers had taken his car, a black Honda Accord, to a ransom drop with the victim's brother in the Bronx, the police sources said. The victim told cops that the men were armed with a handgun and also had his cell phone, the sources said. The vicious fiends had demanded $100,000 from the victim's horrified brother, who was forced to watch as his siblings was cut with a knife on a grisly FaceTime call, according to court documents first reported by the Post. The kidnappers, who wore masks on the video, called from a blocked number, the sources said. Police went to the drop site but didn't see the victim's car or anyone suspicious. Prosecutors have said the young man was barely breathing when he was found following a twisted 24-hour torture session where he was stabbed and beaten. The twisted saga began after the victim connected with the pretty brunette over Instagram, never suspecting that he was allegedly being targeted because she and her accomplices thought he was a wealthy prey. Valerie Rosario, 22, who allegedly lured him to a Bronx apartment February 7th, was indicted in the sickening case and is set to be arraigned in a Manhattan Supreme Court next month. The indictment charges were not made public, but prosecutors initially charged her last week with attempted murder and kidnapping. According to the sources, she was arrested March 10th after cops tracked her to the Bronx home of the aunt of one of her alleged co-conspirators, Michael Candelario, who has also been charged. Prosecutors say Rosario allegedly coaxed the victim, a complete stranger, to an address on Marble Hill Avenue in the Bronx after they connected on Instagram. He went to meet the Lower East Side con woman, believing they were linking up for a romantic encounter, basically whoopee, according to sources. But when he arrived, three men barged in and pistol whipped him. Rosario and the accomplices then allegedly stripped the victim, placed him in a bathtub, poured flammable substances on him, and burned him with a flame all over his body, according to a criminal complaint. They also tormented him with a knife, striking him about the legs, back, and body, the court doc states. Several hours of torture later, the group of sadists moved the victim to an address, Queens, in his own car, sources said. Police tracked him down to the back of a van parked there and arrested another of the alleged accomplices, Javier Vargas. Vargas, 24, was arraigned on February 9th and also remanded into custody. His next court date is set for March 2022. And this is like a really kind of like shocking thing. And what people really need to understand about this situation is that, like, anytime you think with the wrong head, you're probably going to end up doing something stupid, right? But not only that, like, this is such like a crazy case, right? Because one, for some reason, they believed that he would have been able to produce $100,000, right? They were literally burning him alive. Like, what was the purpose of all this? Just for the money? If it was just for the money, they could have just scared him, right? Like the torture aspect, like, is crazy. It's absolutely crazy.